I'm Jess from Tattoos and Cherries. I recently put up my tutorial on beginner foundation, but I realised that it's very hard for someone to know what I'm talking about when I talk about that unless you know a little bit behind it, like stippling and things like that, what I actually mean. So what I'm going to do is just make this quick video. I'm not very good on camera, sorry, but it should just give you an idea of what I mean. I'm going to go through the whole process. Sorry, I'm sick, and show you basically what to do. I'm just going to moisturise. I'm going to use my rosehip hydrating cream, and if you use a large amount, it's going everywhere because it's a hot day, use a large amount and rub it into your skin and you're going to look ridiculous. But what it does is it makes your skin very, very smooth. Once it's all rubbed in, you keep rubbing. Take a while, but it's worth it. Okay, so that's rubbed in. You can see there's no visible moisturiser, but you wait until it sinks into your skin. So you don't want to apply anything on top of this. Otherwise it's going to layer and layer and layer and turn into a goopy mess, and that's how you get really cakey. And just, if you do have dry skin, like this can be done for oily or normal skin. I get normal to slightly oily. I don't really have really dry skin except here, and that's not too bad, so don't worry. But if you do have dry skin, just get a little bit of moisturiser on one of these and just tap it in, and it will take longer, but what you'll find is that when you do this, the little ridges in your hand are micro exfoliating, which means it's pushing the skin up. So it's going to be, you won't be able to notice it straight away, but it's going to be up, so that when you put foundation on, it's going to really accentuate these parts. They're going to be higher, your skin's going to look uneven and just yuck. So just pat it in. Once your moisturiser is like dry to the touch, then we can move on to the next step, so I'll come back in a second. Okay, so now the moisturiser is dry, and by dry I don't mean like dry skin, I mean that it feels soft but not oily. You can't feel the cream or anything like that, it just feels like soft skin. So then we move on to the next step, which is primer. Now I have very large pores, so what I use is the baby skin, and to avoid wasting product and using what I don't need, I just dab it. It's like a clear silicone, so you can't really see it, but dab it where I've got pores and then just tap it in. What this does is when the foundation goes on top, it's not going to sink into the pores and make them visible, it's going to sit on top and blur them. Okay, so just leave that to sit. If you watch Nikki tutorials, you already know this, but this is the Nivea Men's Aftershave Balm. It's got glycerin in it, so it will help your makeup stick to your face and not slide off if it gets hot, or if you rub your face or lean, it's not going to wipe off and get on your clothes, or you won't have to reapply it as often. So this, because it's sticky, I just press it into my skin. Not an attractive look, but anyway. So press it in, and then rub it. And this will then again, you wait until it's like you've got a sticky to the touch to it. As It doesn't feel very pleasant, so you wouldn't want to leave it on its own, but yeah, it will help the makeup stick, so you won't notice the stickiness in here. So just wait until that is sticky to the touch, and if you have dry skin, the same thing, use a sponge and stipple it in. Okay, so once it's dry, like a stickiness to the touch, just start your foundation. You don't need to use that primer, you can use any primer you like. You don't have to use a primer, but I do recommend it because it does make it stay longer. Other primers that are inexpensive are the e.l.f. mineral infused primer. That's like a silicone based primer that will help it stick. I don't really have any other primer. Nude by Nature primer, so you can get a whole heap. You can get for dry skin, oily skin. Just yeah, if you're not sure, just look up what's the best for your skin. There's plenty of articles on Google about, you know, what they recommend for dry skin, oily skin, combination skin like mine, etc. So now we're going to move on to foundation. In this tutorial I'm going to be using affordable products, so things that are relatively cheap, because beginners, you don't want to go out and buy MAC or anything like that when you're not sure, absolutely sure of your skin tone, or just application, like you might have to redo it a couple of times. It's just wasting product, and MAC is expensive and that sort of thing. So I'm using relatively cheap products that you can actually get in Australia, because you know all our makeup is expensive, but I'm using the Chi Chi. They have a great range for different skin tones, and if you want to know what your skin tone is, look on my Tattoos and Cherries blog. There's like a description of how you can tell. But yeah, mine is vanilla, and I'm neutral, so I can use slightly pink to slightly yellow undertones. It doesn't really make a difference. I find it does on camera, so you might say, oh, you've got an orange face, but in real life it's not, so don't panic. So what I do is I squirt a small amount on my hand, just a small amount, you don't need much, and then dip the brush in. I use the Real Technique stippling brush, which I need to wash, but it's the angled one. I just find this applies my foundation the best. And then I either start working it in like this, or I get it on the back of my hand and just work it in. So I'll do one side with the brush and the other side with the sponge, so you know. I'm trying not to get it in my eye because I've already done my makeup. I wish I had a better camera than my iPad camera, but it's just to give you an idea, so it doesn't really matter. And I have very bad breakouts at the moment. I have a chronic illness, which means that I get breakouts basically all the time, so I'm not too bothered, it's just part of who I am. I look at makeup more as like a fun thing than covering flaws, so it doesn't bother me. I cover them up only because distracts from the makeup, but I'm not bothered. Okay, so this side is done, one layer, and you get a damp beauty blender. This is not actually a beauty blender, it needs washing because I've already done this today. I didn't hit record, so I'm an idiot, but this is from Chi Chi. It's like $5–10, something like that, and I need a new one, but it does the job and it's not $50 like Beauty Blender. So what I do is just stipple it on. And I used to do it this way all the time, but then found out that the brush works so much better. And this is what you want to do if you are dry. If you have dry skin, it will press foundation in and help lay your skin flat and not stick up and be visible and dry. So usually go over the brush just with Beauty Blender anyway, just because it actually gives a dewy finish. It doesn't, you can't see the streaks or anything like that. But always make sure to blend your foundation down your neck, because if it ends here, you're going to look like you have a mask on. And your ears, so they blend in. Okay, now if you want fuller coverage, what you do is you wait a few minutes till that's soaked in, because like I said, layering products is just going to make your face look cakey and gross. So I'll wait and I'll come back. Okay, so I've waited till my foundation is reasonably set, which means it's not rubbing off onto my hand, it's not wet feeling. And I'm sorry if you can't hear me, there's a thunderstorm raging outside, so my yard is getting flooded, so sorry about that, but I'm going to keep going. And this is what you do. If you've got a brush, if you want to use a brush and you've got dry skin, you just like this, and it will give the same effect. It will just take a little bit longer. I'm going to quickly go over the second. And don't pack it on, like less is more. You'd be surprised the coverage you get when you only put a small amount on. And don't be afraid of letting some of your skin show through, because I really only cover like down here. You're always going to see through that because it's so bright red, but we do have other tricks to hide these, but not in a beginner tutorial, so I'll do another one later on. But you can see the difference anyway, so even if you did this, it's still going to help you hide the things that detract from your natural beauty, your natural features. So you're going to feel more confident because the real you is showing, not, people aren't going to be focused on the flaws. You can show the real you. I don't mean that in a bad way, like I don't mean flaws as in it's something wrong with you. I mean simply that it is something people focus on, and it helps them focus on your good parts, the bits you're proud of. So as you can see, I look a little bit greasy, but that's because the foundation is still wet. I'm going to wait for this to dry and then we'll put powder on, because if we put powder on now, what's going to happen is it's going to mix, and it's like dirt with water. It's going to turn into a paste, and it's just going to be gross. And my hair, I cut my hair short. Hate it. So we'll see what happens. I'll be back soon. Okay, I'm back and my foundation is dry. I just intended with my eyeshadow because I realised I went over the foundation and wiped it off. So just it's dry. So what I use is a pressed powder. You can use clear, you can use tinted, which I use to cover the redness. So mine is the CoverGirl it's like, it has some tint but doesn't cover my actual foundation. And I also use the e.l.f. under eye powder, because what it does, it's not tinted, so it's not going to darken my under eye area. What I do first is get Chi Chi 3-in-1 eye concealer. Mine is fair, and to brighten it up, you have very loose skin on my eyes, so this drags a bit, but this will just give a brightening look to it, especially because when you study, especially law, you don't get much sleep, so this helps make it look like I actually have sleep. And you don't want to use a lighter one. See, it's lighter than my foundation. You want to use this to cover your spots, because it will brighten them and make them more visible. To blend this, I just use a... And this is why I don't do my under eyelid shadow or anything yet, because I just end up wiping it off with this step. So I wait till the end and then I do it. It's just easier that way. Just do my all this, which isn't very fancy today at all, but so it just helps hide these. It doesn't do much, but it helps. And I use my Real Techniques setting brush, and I just put in the white powder, and you don't want to brush it because it will push it into any lines, so just tap it along. And then you can, once there's a layer of powder, you can lightly, very lightly, go over it. Okay. Now, I'm just going to use my Nude by Nature Kabuki brush to tap on the foundation. If you tap it on, it won't push it against the foundation and create that muddy mess that I was saying about before. I just leave my eyes. I put a lot on my forehead because that's where I get the oiliest. Okay. And I know these are showing up, but like I said, there's not much I can do about that. I'm not too worried unless I'm going out somewhere special and then I put it with. But okay, so once you get the layer, we can just a layer of powder. Should finish my words. Just go over, and then this is the step that I haven't seen anyone else do, but I do it anyway. Okay, so this is a step I don't see many other people do, but I get a flat top dense, so it's reasonably dense brush, and I just blend it. I just swirl it over my face. What it does is it actually blurs out the powder finer, so I don't know if you can tell, but it just makes it look smoother. If you don't have these brushes, I don't go out and buy a heap of brushes. It took me a while to collect these, so just you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. So that's your foundation done. what you can also do is a setting spray, which will flatten down the powder. So I'm not going to do that right now. I will finish the rest of my makeup and I'll come back and do it and show you what it looks like. Hey, so this is a finished look. Stop recording, sorry, but all I did was spritz this over, just hold over your face and that's it. It will set the powder so it looks not oily but shiny. I've got light reflecting, that's why it looks a bit oilier, but yeah. So I hope you like that. Sorry I'm not very good at the camera, but if you like this lipstick, I'm going to do a review on it. It's the Essence liquid lipstick, so keep an eye out for that. And please follow my blog if you like it, and yeah, like the Facebook page, enter the competition, and